On this video, we're going to be discussing our worship center entryway. We always like to create a fun entry place when our kids are entering the worship center for the opening and closing sessions. That goes along with the theme, kind of bring a little bit of our set outside of our worship center as well. So for this, we designed a sort of like a fence, I guess you could call it, a little entryway for our kids to walk through. We made it wide enough so that it would not interfere with our doors, always thinking about safety with having safe egress in and out of the door. So we kept it wider than the door itself for safety purposes. So this is made out of cardboard. And what I have going on here is we used pipe and drape poles. We have a pipe and drape pole here going down to a pipe and drape base on either side. And then we have a crossbar going across the top. And the way that the cardboard is attached to these is every so often I ran a zip tie through the cardboard and onto the upright, onto the crossbar. All throughout here, there are zip ties, black zip ties, and they hide real well in the color of this painted cardboard. Then I zip tied this danger sign on separately. These rocks were separate as well, here and here. Those are zip tied to the pipe and drape uprights. And to keep the top from curling over, I ran some fishing line up to our ceiling grid in a few different spots to just keep that from falling forward, keep that cardboard nice and straight. We did run, this is also zip tied, this pirate flag, it's zip tied to the pole, it's zip tied to the cardboard itself, and that held up pretty well. So that is the first element that I wanted to show you, sort of our fence entryway. So moving on to this next part, let's focus on this little volcano that we created. This was built in really two layers. We have sort of the fire of the volcano, which is up here, which is two pieces of cardboard. You can see a seam there. That is painted to look like the volcano is erupting. It's set behind and it's attached to the ceiling. And so the way that we attached this to the ceiling was we zip tied the cardboard to a board here. We have another thin board up here. And then we did some ceiling grid hooks in a couple different places and then just ran a zip tie up and through those ceiling grid hooks. So this piece hangs down. And then we did the same thing on this one. This one was a little bit tougher because our ceiling is angled. We actually angled this back. So this is straight and this is on a slight angle towards the back. It's hard to tell in this photo, but it does angle towards the back. And so again, zip ties, ceiling grid hooks up to the ceiling there, and then we just taped these two pieces of cardboard together at the seam. For the lower volcano, it is built in several different pieces. You see, this is a piece here. We have another piece here, but it's got a score in it and a 90-degree bend, and then another piece there. And so this is just built on stage jacks. I think we have a tall one right about there, another one here at the joint where it turns, and then a short one over here on the backside, and then we just use screws to screw the cardboard into those stage jacks. Then we added some other elements, a big kind of like palm bush, and then some palm trees and some grasses, and each one of those stands on its own. We bought some of these unfinished treasure chests from Joann Fabrics. We stained them because they came as natural wood, and then we just printed a boys and a girls sign that we mounted on the inside. These were our offering collection areas for our boys and girls for our missions offering for this year. So you can kind of see maybe a little bit better here how there's a joint here and it goes back at about a 90-degree angle. Now we're going to focus over on the opposite side, which we just built several layers going on over here to have this other side. So as we zoom in on it a little bit, this cute little vulture. He's just standing on his own with a little L bracket. This is a single piece of cardboard painted to look like a sandbar and some grass and a treasure chest. Again, it's standing on its own, probably with two little short leg brackets behind it. We have a big wave here, and it's got two big brackets holding it up in the air. You can kind of see on the back side of these pieces over here exactly what I'm talking about. Just a leg bracket right there. The cardboard is just screwed into it, and it holds it up really well. Sometimes we use one of those, sometimes we use two, depending on the size of it. Then these fish are zip tied to the cardboard. What I want to do is talk a little bit about these palm trees and how we build those. So we get carpet tubes from local carpet stores that you can see here. And simply, you can kind of see it here in the bottom of the photo. It's a piece of plywood. So we take a sheet of plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and on this one, we're doing a double palm tree. So I take a 2x3, and from the bottom, I cut the 2x3 on an angle, and I put a screw up through the bottom of the plywood into the 2x3 board and make a little crisscross pattern like that, and then the carpet tube just slides down on that 2x3 board that's sticking up this way. There's one sticking up this way. This carpet tube slides down on top of it. The carpet tubes have been wrapped in butcher paper to make it look like more of a tree trunk. We've also done some this year where people use brown paper bags, but they cut the bottom out of the bags, and you can stack up your brown paper bags and crunch them up a little bit. That also makes a cool look for a palm tree. The head of the palm tree here is just a flat piece of cardboard that we screw right into the carpet tube, and then we attached a bird to the front of that as well. So sometimes we'll do a single palm tree, which will just be a piece of plywood at the bottom and a single board sticking up, but other times we do the boards on an angle and do a crisscross pattern to do a double palm tree. If you look here to the other side, this is the back side of what you were seeing before. You can see all of our leg brackets. We do this on little scale and big scale in our main set and everywhere around. I think with this wave, we just have a single one here for this sign, this Beware Ye Landlubber sign. Same thing, just a flat piece of cardboard, and then we attach the Beware sign on front of it. You can either screw it there or you can zip tie it. The fish and this fish is zip tied as well. These can move. We put little weights on them so that you can so they don't fall forward. Here's a real good look at the construction of those palm trees like I was talking about. Over here we have our single palm tree just with a board sticking up from it. You can see all of our leg brackets. We don't mind that people see the construction of it when they walk around to the backside. It doesn't bother us that if you look at it from one angle that you can see the wood and everything like that. We think that's okay. We think it looks great when you look at it the way it's supposed to. So there you go, an idea of how you can create a fun little decoration zone, maybe a walkthrough zone to your worship center or another area of your building.